cases is from 2018. The other case is from 2019, both involving Black male inmates who were killed by corrections officers within prisons. One was in North Carolina and the other one was in Pennsylvania. The body cam, well, this footage of these lynchings, I'm going to call them lynchings, was just released this week. And so they are going viral. So we must talk about these things. I have an expert, brother Kareem Johnson, who was on earlier this week. He's going to be back with us today in the Lioness Den because I have questions in terms of what the heck happens in prisons regarding our brothers with restraint and all of these different things. So as you're entering into the Lioness Den, I want you to make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you give me a B1 salute, as this is a Black first space. And I also want you to know that I'm here on weekdays at 12 p.m. Eastern time on flynubianqueentv.com. All right, before we do anything else, I'm going to read the copyright disclaimer. And this is the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right, so now that we've done that, I want to, as everyone is coming in, I want to remind you all to make sure you text the word Queens to 31996. That's Queens with an S to 31996. All right, so let's start with what happened in 2018. In 2018, this article I'm going to read is from news1.com. It says, graphic video is released of North Carolina man yelling, "I can't breathe," to jail guards before death. And I can't stress this enough. Listen, for folks to be out here protesting and chanting and wearing t-shirts and masks with this death chant, this death slogan, "I can't breathe," is not what's up on a metaphysical or energetic level. You know what I'm saying? Because the force of life, our breath, is what gives us, our ability to live and be on this plane. So this brother really couldn't breathe in a jail. And so we're going to learn about what happened to our brother. Be sure to hit the like button. We're going to have our brother Kareem Johnson again drop some jewels and tell us what's really going on with these sorts of cases. All right, so the source is Forsyth County Jail, and there's an image here. I will make sure I put the link in the comments. It says, protesters are calling for justice after a North Carolina man died days after being apprehended by jail guards while yelling, "I can't breathe." According to WFMY News 2, video footage was made public that shows what occurred before John Neville, hashtag his name, y'all, John Neville, Neville's death, John Neville. More than 40 minutes of body camera footage was recorded in Forsyth County Jail back in December. So that was December of 2019. And 4 minutes of the video was shown by WFMY. According to Associated Press, Neville was being held in the jail on a warrant accusing him of assaulting a woman. The footage leading to his death begins in Neville's jail cell, and it shows several officers surrounding him on the floor after he fell from his top bunk bed. Thank you for hashtagging our brother John Neville. The detention officers, this article says, the detention officers tell him that he appears to have had a medical emergency. Quote, "You're all right, you're okay, you had a seizure," end quote, one officer said. Over the next couple of seconds, Neville and the officers are calm, and he can be heard breathing. Quote, "You're going to be all right, buddy, all right? You're going to be all right, having a bit of a medical episode here," end quote, another officer explained in the video. When a nurse tries to take Neville's blood pressure a couple of seconds later, Neville gets restless. Quote, "Stay right there," end quote, an officer says. Quote, "Let me out," end quote, Neville replies. Quote, "No, they're trying to protect you from yourself. You're having a medical emergency," end quote, another officer says. The video shows one of the detention officers with a knee placed on Neville's arm, supposedly as a way to keep him restrained. As the video continues, Neville comes back into the frame and something is over his head. At this point, Neville is starting to breathe heavily. The autopsy report said officers placed a mesh spit mask on him after he attempted to bite them. The autopsy report went on to say that the officers helped Neville to his feet and placed him in a restraint chair, which is present in the body camera footage. The officers then escort Neville to an observation cell, and they placed him face down on a floor mattress, take off his cuffs. They hold his shoulders, arms, and legs in the process. And then there's like more dialogue here, okay? So it says, at this point, Neville can't be seen in the 4-minute video. So it says, at this point, Neville cannot be seen in the 4-minute video WFMY released. Only 5 officers can be seen. This is when Neville starts to yell, "I can't breathe," multiple times. Please, Neville shouts, "You need to relax so I can get your cuffs off." One officer says, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe," Neville continues. Over the next 67 seconds of the body camera footage, Neville yells, "I can't breathe," 10 more times while also crying for help. Eventually, the officers arrived with bolt cutters, which the autopsy report says officers used after the handcuff key broke inside the lock. The cuffs were cut off using bolt cutters. By the end of the video, officers leave the cell, causing Neville to be left on the ground. A nurse says she couldn't see him breathing, according to the autopsy report. The footage shows below. The footage follows below and is graphic. Watch at your own discretion. I'm not playing that footage, but I will give you the link. All right, so just hold off 1 second, y'all, and make sure you all hit that notification bell and hit the like button. I want to draw more people into the broadcast. I especially want people to understand and hear what our brother Kareem Johnson, who is waiting on the line, has to say. This is going to be a very, very, very short broadcast today in the Lioness Den. You're tuned in right here at FlyNubianQueenTV.com. Our program is at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on weekdays. Also, make sure you are subscribed to FlyNubianQueen.com on iTunes as well as Facebook. Back to the News One article, it says Neville was transported to Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center, where he died 2 days later. The autopsy listed brain injury after he was restrained as his cause of death. A nurse and 5 detention officers were charged last month with involuntary manslaughter. According to Associated Press, more than 70 people joined a vigil for Neville in Winston-Salem on Wednesday night. Neville's son, Tremaine Stubbs, spoke to the crowd saying, "My daddy is gone for no reason." An activist in the city, Terrence Hawkins, said, quote, "White supremacy continues to have its way in the city, in the state, in this country, and in this world. We want justice, and we want it now." Hawkins said he was concerned that it took the Forsyth County District Attorney's Office months to bring charges in Neville's death and to make the jail footage public. A Black Lives Matter chapter in the city demanded for months that the video be released. However, Neville's family opposed this move until last week. So apparently the family didn't want that footage out until last week. The Black Lives Matter chapter eventually apologized last week in a Facebook post, quote, for not following the initial wishes of John Neville's family and for, quote, any hurt they may have caused. All right, I'm going to pause there. Brother Kareem, you can, if you want to turn off your music and unmute yourself. Peace and Black Power, brother.
Peace and Black Power. Peace and Black Power. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming back into the Lioness Den. I want everyone to make sure you hit that like button. And also, make sure you hashtag this brother's name, hashtag John Neville, hashtag John Neville, Neville. Now, listen, this is a case that you and I were talking about that happened in December of 2019, okay? I stopped, and I don't want to mix up the two cases because I'll read the next article, and then we can do commentary on that. I stopped after this one specifically because when we get to the end of that article that I just read, I'm gonna let you see me, brother. When I got to the end of the article that I just read, it says that the family initially did not want the footage of John Neville's death made public, but it seems like the Black Lives Matter chapter put that out there, and then they had to do an apology. I know you're very, very sensitive to working with families of death victims. You're also, have done a lot of work within the prisons and within the currently and formerly incarcerated position. What is your opinion on this?
Right. Well, first of all, when you are incarcerated, many of the rights that that your oppressors claim to have given you when you are free are no longer present.
Right.
So the footage itself belongs to the state, just as the state claim ownership of over that comrade, that black man's body. You understand? When you are incarcerated, when you are captured, all bets are off. You know, that is a terrible state to be in. And of course, my condolences go out to that family, and I hope that they find some type of healing, even though it has been some time. I was aware of this case when it initially happened back in 2018.
This was 2019.
20
December.
Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Right.
Philadelphia was in 2018. We about to get there. Yeah.
18 June. Right. And on this particular case last year, it's a terrible state to be in as a family. But what I always encourage our people to know, not criminals, right? We have become accustomed to believing that criminology is a part of being black, is a part of our blackness, and it is not. We have to take our people out of the socialization to believing that it is okay to be in the sub-society, which is the criminal lifestyle, and allowing yourself to be captured. The first thing I noticed, when I was captured, is that at any time my life could be taken away. At any time, regardless of circumstance. These people have total control over whether or not you eat, whether or not you sleep, whether or not you breathe. And they are sadistic people. So at any time, they can use these tools of death to extinguish your existence here. And this is what happens. We just happen to now be in a time where there is what's going on. Right? So our people need to keep that in the forefront. That capture is absolutely a place not for any of us to be in at any time. We also have to note that this is Black August, right? This is the month, right? Historically, where we have had many freedom fighters, right, lose their life.
Yes.
Fighting to keep our struggle alive. This is also today the anniversary of our young brother Jonathan Jackson meeting his demise, right?
George Jackson's little brother.
Making an attempt to free comrade George Jackson. So we also have to give praise and send salutations to the Jackson family and all other subsequent families and organizations under the RBG flag, right? Our Black Guerrilla family, our BLACK, our AIM, the American Indian Movement, and others.
Mm-hmm. Right. Let me ask you this. Yeah, if y'all don't know who George Jackson is or Jonathan Jackson, y'all need to look them up. Rest in peace to both of them. That's all I'm gonna say right now on them. But this is Black August, and Black August is also the time where we write and we remember. We write and we put money on the books in the commissary of our Black freedom fighters who are political prisoners. Hashtag free Mumia Abu Jamal. Let me ask you this though, before we get on to the next article. What are your thoughts on the fact that the local Black Lives Matter chapter in North Carolina was pressuring the family and the district attorney's office to release that body cam footage of John Neville being killed in that prison when the family didn't want to do that in the first place? What do you think about that?
Well, of course, they're going to try to politicize anything to further their cause, to further their agenda.
You talking
Right?
about the
This is
organization?
just what people do.
Okay.
I have, yes, I have, very, very limited view or study on how they move. I don't understand that organization at all.
Yeah.
But it would be best for them, going further to make sure that they get specific permissions from these family members who are in deep mourning, right, of the misfortunate, demise of their loved ones. That has to stop. Everything isn't a political moment for your movement or your organization. You understand? Especially when you had no prior relationship to this family.
I agree. So let's see what happens. I mean, this happened in December. I'm gonna go back over to the article. I'm gonna welcome everyone. There's a lot more people who just came in. You are in the Lioness Den. I'm Lioness Crowned, your revolutionary, unapologetically Black African host, right here at FlyNubianQueen.com, the network for melanated women and some men like you. We're just talking about body camera footage that just came out of a police killing, corrections officer killing. Well, their actions in this case, rather, let me correct myself. The actions of these correction officers in the North Carolina prison led to the death, the brain injury, and the subsequent death 2 days later of inmate John Neville. Okay, he was not directly killed right there on the spot. He didn't stop breathing right then and there on the spot. But in the hospital, 2 days later, he succumbed to injuries according to the medical examiner's report of brain injury. You know what I'm saying? Can we talk a little bit about, Brother Karim, those chairs and restraints? It says that they put one of those things on his face to prevent him from spitting, and they were trying to protect him from himself. Tell me about that. What happens in prison when
that's coded language.
Okay.
That's coded language. Anytime you hear them speak with certain terms, right, and they're quick terms, quick sentences, usually 6 or 7, 8 words, that's coded language, right? Just like they utilize in the streets with failure to comply. I'm giving you an order.
Right, stop resisting. Yeah.
This is terminology that is coded, right? To me, we're about to turn it up a notch. That's letting the media circle within their game structure to know that, okay, this is going left, we're going to turn it up. And anything we do, we're trying to make sure we are covered for, just in case it goes wrong. And this is what they do on a regular basis. Now, those chairs, I'm not sure how they introduce them out of state, but in the New York State and New York City prison institutions, those chairs are X-ray chairs to find out if there's any contraband in the anal cavity. If you may have stuff, weapons or drugs in that anal region. So that's what those restraint chairs are for. There's nothing calm about it. It's a very hard chair. It's a very upright chair, and it's used to, if you would watch certain movies, certain TV shows, you can see
Hannibal Lecter, Silence of the Lambs. Yeah.
Right? That is always used for torture. Right? There's nothing pleasurable about it. There's nothing calming or restraining about it. Right? These are torture devices. Anything that's utilized in the prison system is never one to get you to calm down or ease you. It is always used to torture, to maim, to kill, to agitate. There's no reason to calm anyone in prison. You are a ward of the state. You're a property of the government. So they have no reason to calm you. If they kill you, so be it. That is always going to be their mantra. That's always going to be their stand.
Yeah.
Because they never intended for us to be anything other than labor.
Right. Can pause for 1 second, brother?
Slave.
I want to thank our brother Otis Thomas for your super chat. Thank you for contributing to FlyNubianQueen.com, the network for melanated women, and some brothers like you. This is what Otis Thomas said in his super chat contribution. He said, there are videos of police officers shaking people to make it look like they are resisting arrest.
Definitely. Definitely. They are trained, right? They are trained to make sure that everything they do is right and exact. They know how to make it seem as if somebody is resisting.
Yeah.
That's why they increase the volume when they're making these terms, right? This is why they gather around and shield certain angles from cameras. Everything is done to protect those who are right there in the face of the world, lynching somebody, murdering somebody.
Let me tell you this.
Strategy and tactics that they employ on a daily basis. This is something that they're trained to do.
Yeah. Look, I had some comrades that were protesting in Gastonia, North Carolina last month, and they got arrested. Okay. And one of them said something like they got injected with something when they got booked, you know, when they were put into jail for a couple of days, and they don't know what the hell they got injected with. So you're right. Like, we don't want to get captured. And once you're in there, you are property of the state. Like, you have no autonomy. You have no control.
No, because what you have done is exchange your freedom, right? This is what you did. You gave it away. Whatever freedom that they claim that you constitutionally had, you just gave it away by breaking a law.
But we also know that many of us get captured without doing anything wrong too. And you know, it's tons of brothers and sisters behind bars who didn't do a damn thing. They were mistaken identity or set up or whatever it is, right?
And those are the ones who we have to work diligently in order to eliminate, again, the socialization of incarceration, the socialization of criminal behavior. Black people are not criminals.
Right. Facts.
We should not ever accept that we are a criminal group. Just because, and in spite of its government and its false laws, right? Its false promises, right? Its fake constitution and agreements.
Right. Thank you.
All right. The difference between breaking the law and confronting the law.
Yes.
There's a very big difference between the two. And we have to make sure our people understand that.
The difference between breaking the law and confronting the law.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right, brother.
Our people have become comfortable with breaking the law.
Yeah. Look, I want to get to the next article, okay? And somebody asked me, am I holding a crystal? This is rose quartz. This is rose quartz. Brother Kareem, you can go on mute right quick because I'm going to read the next article about Shaheen Mackey. And we're really going to talk about that one because that video, I don't know if you all you've seen it. It shows him actually in the chair. And I'm going to just read it to you, but it's just really disgusting. It went viral this week, so we're going to get into that. That actually happened in 2018. The family has already accepted a settlement and stuff like that. But the video just went viral. So this is more, you know, trauma that we sustained by watching these things. But then also, let's talk about it a bit more. You are in the Lioness Den. I'm Lioness Crowned, Jade Arendelle, your revolutionary, unapologetically Black African host, right here at FlyNubianQueen.com, the network for melanated women like you. All right. Now, this article is also out of News One. It's also out of News One. I'm going to just put it in the chat so y'all have it right quick, and you can go back and make sure you take a look at it. And thank you all for hitting the like button. I need everyone to make sure you hit the like button because we're really going to dig into this particular article. Okay, now here we go. It's in the chat. Y'all can look at it later on at your own, you know, at your own leisure, and then look at that video of the footage at your own risk. Viewer discretion is advised. All right, News One. It says justice for Shaheen Mackey. I need y'all to hashtag our brother Shaheen, Shaheen, Mackey, Mackey. It says graphic video shows prison guards taser shackled inmate in medical distress before death. His family is demanding accountability behind money. Behind money. A graphic video showing a 41-year-old. These black men be so young when their lives are taken. So young when their lives are taken, when they're lynched by these race soldiers. Listen, a graphic video showing a 41-year-old black prisoner's inhumane treatment by corrections officers before dying in custody has been leaked on social media to show how the inmate was murdered. Shaheen Mackey, hashtag our brother, Shaheen Mackey, Shaheen, who was an inmate at the Luzerne County Correctional Facility in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Luzerne, I wonder if that prison is somehow connected to, I don't know, I'm just asking a question, to Luzerne milk and dairy farming. I don't know, but interesting. I gotta look up this prison. Brother Kareem, if you can, while I'm reading this, if you can look that up, or if someone can, just let me know if you can do that. It says Shaheen Mackey, who was an inmate at the Luzerne County Correctional Facility in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, suffered from an epileptic seizure, only to be met with a brutal response that his family argues caused his death. The incident happened in 2018, but the horrific footage was leaked this week by the husband of a woman who is the administrator of Mackey's estate, which has sued a number of parties seeking justice. The video was leaked just weeks after a $3 million settlement was reached between the county and Mackey's estate. Quote, during the 4 hours he was held there, Shaheen Mackey had a seizure and called for medical help, end quote. Naeem Johnson wrote in part on his Facebook page, where he posted the video Monday night. Quote, while his hands was cuffed behind his back in the chair with a spit mask on his face and his feet shackled, the correctional officers shocked him with tasers and not just held the spit mask on his face, but choked him with it. End quote. In the video that lasts for more than 23 minutes, corrections officers can be heard accusing Mackey of restraining, even though the footage shows he was not. He is repeatedly told to, quote, calm down and breathe. He was repeatedly told to calm down and breathe, end quote. Advice that is not effective when someone is in the throes of an epileptic seizure like Mackey was. Throughout it all, Mackey was shackled and restrained in a chair for nearly a half hour without being taken anywhere for medical assistance. Mind you, our brother, hashtag Shaheen Mackey, was having an epileptic seizure. In the video that lasts for more than 23 minutes, corrections officer, I already read that. He wasn't taken anywhere for medical assistance. The medical examiner's office ruled Mackey died of natural causes. The medical examiner's office ruled that Mackey died of natural causes. Brother Kareem, I want your opinion on this. Listen up. Next paragraph says, civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who on Wednesday shared a portion of the video to his followers on Twitter, called Mackey's treatment sickening. Mackey died June 6, 2018, 2 days after being hospitalized from the prison incident that included what his daughter described as a disingenuous effort at reviving her father. Quote, how do you give CPR in a chair? End quote. Mackey's daughter, Tatiana Mackey, asked rhetorically during an interview with local news outlet WNEP. Anyone who knows anything, she said, anyone who knows anything about CPR, you got to lay them down flat, tilt their head. They did that after his body was limp in a chair. They didn't try. End quote. She and her family members have said they want accountability and reform with better training for prison staff, not money. None of the corrections officers involved in the incident were disciplined. I'm gonna read that one more again. None of the corrections officers involved in the incident were disciplined, let alone criminally charged or fired for what family members call mistreatment and medical negligence. Luzerne County District Attorney Stephanie Salavantis reacted to the video by telling a local news outlet that she made the right call by not charging anyone involved. I might have to send her an email or make some phone calls. I'm gonna read this again. Luzerne County District Attorney Stephanie Salavantis, Salavantis, reacted to the video by telling local news outlet that she made the right call by not charging anyone involved. Somebody in the chat said that was murder. Quote, neither the county's decision to settle the civil action nor the video's release affect the investigation or decision with respect to criminal charges against the corrections officers in this case, end quote. Salavantis told Citizens Voice on Wednesday. The audacity of this chick. Listen to what she said, y'all. Quote, it should be noted that not only did our office expend a substantial amount of time and resources doing a full investigation into the incident, the matter was also reviewed by federal authorities, end quote. The full leaked video is extremely graphic and follows below. Watch at your own discretion. Brother Karim, come back on into the Lioness Den, brother, and unmute yourself, please.
Yes, peace and power.
Peace. So, you heard it. You heard what this chick said. You know what I'm saying? Thoughts?
Well, first of all, to say that it was a murder is to say the least. We know that it was a murder. But what I want the audience to know is that when you are locked up, you are not locked up with the most loving people in charge of your body. You are not locked up with the most intelligent people over your body. You are locked up with the most sadistic people in the world. Some of them borderline mental illness.
The corrections officers, right? Right.
Yeah. Definitely. And the administration.
Hold on for 1 second, brother Karam. Let me I want to shout out Brittany Nelson. She just said the milk is Lucerne Dairy. Lucerne Dairy. Thank you so much for clearing that up. And she said they are not connected to Luzerne prison, but it is interesting to know the prison was created in 1960 and later became a male medium security facility. Shout out to Brittany Nelson. All right, go ahead, brother.
Right, and I'm glad you brought that up as far as medium classification. Right, when you look up our comrade George Jackson's case, the Soledad case, you will see different in the linear notes. You will see different classifications on how penitentiaries, prisons, and state facilities are set up. You will also see the levels, whether it's maximum, medium, or minimum security, and what is allowed in there, because they were shackling Comrade George in front of the jury and in the courtroom while the case was going on, him and his two co-defendants, right? This practice has been going on, right, since the mid-60s and prior all the way to present, where you're utilizing shackles, chairs, these different type of masks, tasers, and all these other death devices, right? As if black people are cattle in these prisons and you're just pronging them alone.
Those are the same type of devices that were used also during slavery, and also Europeans used them on each other during medieval times or the Dark Ages, and a lot of them studied different ways to torture each other, especially the Romans did. And so that trickled down into American slavery. Those were devices that they used on us. The coffle, the thing that goes around your neck, the collar, the mask, but they will be iron masks, the shackles, and all of these different restraining and torture devices. Why are we seeing? Why are we seeing them? We're seeing these inhumane, these forms of cruel and unusual punishments being used on our brothers, young black men.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen it used on younger. They are also used in adolescent facilities as well. This is not just in federal penitentiaries. This is not just in state prisons and facilities. These devices are also used in adolescent, juvenile facilities and places where you hold those who you deem criminal for some of the most minute charges to some of the most heinous charges. You are nothing once you are captured.
Right.
But once you are a convicted felon, you really have no relief. So if you're deemed a rebel, if you're deemed uncooperative, if you're deemed a rebel rouser, when they come for you, you have to be about your business.
Right.
You understand? And your family has to know this as well. When you have somebody who is incarcerated and you being supportive of them, you must have consistent contact with them on a regular basis.
Yes, we cannot forget about our people who are behind bars. Now listen to this, Brother Kareem. Let me bring this back up to your attention. The article says that the video was leaked weeks after a $3 million settlement. And then you heard the chick when she said that she did the right thing by not charging any of those correction officers that were responsible for this. We already know that's kind of business as usual. I mean, I am going to be advocating, for this family, justice for #Shaheen Mackey. The other thing I wanted to bring up, I think I hear something ringing. I don't know if it's me. But the other thing I wanted to bring up, brother, is the daughter. The daughter was saying, quote, "How do you give CPR in a chair? Anyone who knows anything about CPR, you got to lay them down flat and tilt their head. They did that after his body was limp in a chair. They didn't try.
Right.
Thoughts?"
Well, they're not going to try. Again, they are only going to follow the orders of the supervisor that's in charge of the scene. So if the supervisor in charge of that immediate scene is not giving an order to preserve life, if they're giving an order to restrain and stop, right,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to keep in that same energy.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to look and check to see if this man is actually having a medical issue.
Right.
Because they're not trained for that.
Right.
They're trained to come in with your sticks and your tools of death. They're not trained to come in there.
Right. Hold on for 1 second. Pause. Was that an alarm or something going off in the background? Was that me?
That's on you.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that was. All right, you can go ahead and continue.
Right. They're not there to come and calm the situation. They're come to protect each other and to give harm to the inmate, to give harm to the felon, to give harm to the prisoner, and to subdue them into submission, to break them by any means that they have available.
Right. I had a question for you. You mentioned personally being captured. How long was that situation?
A decade.
A decade. So 10 years. New York State?
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, you already know what goes on. And then still, I tell the audience that, like, you are a servant of this, demographic, right? The currently and the formerly incarcerated. And so I can only imagine the types of narratives that you hear in terms of the abuse and the trauma that our brothers and sisters go through behind bars. Like, some people typed in the comments, they were saying, well, this is nothing new. No, it's nothing new, but we got to shine light on it. If we're talking about how you would defund the police, right? Like, what does that mean if people if our people are subjected to a certain level of abuse and corrections officers are also not being held accountable.
Well, when people say that there's nothing new, and it is nothing new, and it's been happening, my answer always is, it has to be new because our people continuously volunteer themselves into that system. If it's not new, why the hell do we so freely walk up into the prison systems? Why is it that we allow our culture to be invaded to the degree where our babies are being socialized through the vibrations and the music to accept criminal lifestyles? Why is it okay, if it's not new, for us to be having drill music where our babies are killing each other on a regular basis and finding themselves locked behind bars and needing somebody to advocate for them on the outside?
Facts.
If it's not new, if it's been going on, we should have already been programmed to figure the way out of it. So that has to be kept in the front, because we are acting as if it is new. We are allowing our babies to come in the house cursing and sagging and smoking and drinking and scamming. You think we're allowing that? We're excusing that. If it's so not new, then we should not be doing it.
Facts.
You dig what I'm saying?
Facts.
And
Listen.
this goes back to the point of which, where you are receiving this treatment, not only in the state and federal prisons and penitentiaries, but when you are only charged in the county jails in Rikers Island, Cook County, LA County, these people, right, are receiving the same treatment, and they're not even convicted felons. These
Right.
are really detainees who are being abused. You understand? As a detainee, I was labeled Red ID within the Rikers Island County system. Red ID is someone who is known to be a rebel, who is known to carry prison weapons and things of the such, and may be aggressive towards the administration. As a Red ID, my hands were shackled behind me in cylinder mittens with a device over the wrist, so you cannot move, with leg irons, and you stay like that whenever you leave the building until you come back. So if you're leaving to go to court, or if you're leaving for something medical, you stay in that setup. So you cannot move.
Somebody said the red card was a badge of honor on the island.
To some, to some who didn't know their purpose, who was not woke and conscious and aware, because once you're in that, at any time you can meet your demise. Some wore it as a badge of honor, but others who know better, who really wasn't even supposed to be there. Again, if we have knowledge of self and we really truly in tune with what our elders spoke of, we don't wear the criminal lifestyle as a badge of honor.
Facts.
So
I was looking at somebody took a speech or audio that Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. did. It was a message to the thugs, and I think I'm gonna find it while you're talking, and I'm gonna put it in the chat. And they turned it into like an animation, and it really hits home. He was like, we have been trained under a system of racism and white supremacy within this anti-black war that we're in to despise ourselves and everyone who looks like us, who is also black. We're trained to do it. The white supremacists, they sit back and they say, oh, well, let them go ahead and kill each other. And we have all this animosity and all this smoke for people who look like us within our own communities, but you don't have the same smoke for the white supremacists. You know what I'm saying? And without being connected to a higher purpose, like the cycle just goes on and on. So I'm gonna make sure I put that animation in there. So two things I want to add. One is, because somebody in the chat also said a lot of people are being locked up for no reason. I read a very disturbing headline yesterday. I read a whole article of a man in Louisiana who stole some damn shears that you cut bushes with.
Right.
He stole them. The initial court gave him life in prison for stealing them. Then he appealed to the Supreme Court in Louisiana, and they upheld the sentence. This man is going to jail. He's going to prison for life for stealing some damn some shears that you use to like do gardening.
Right. When people say for no reason, there's always a reason. The reason is to make you a slave again, to legally have you under the status of serfdom.
Yes.
There's always a reason. Whether you don't agree with the reason or not, we are behind enemy lines.
Right.
All of us are more of a commodity to them in prison than we are on the outside.
Yes.
So there's a reason. Whether the reason is just you being black. People still fail to realize the third eye of this. That you are black. Your ass don't have no rights. Your ass is more of a value to them behind bars where they can get free labor. You being in the street and earning a living and paying taxes is a liability for them. They need you behind bars where you can get nothing and they can get a lot. So that is the reason. It is never no reason. There is a purpose behind everything that they do.
Right.
And just picking your ass up off the street and giving you a charge, they just made that whole system get filled for a day or two. From the very minute you're handcuffed, the financial aspect of that is getting put in place. From the officer on the street, to the courts, to the legal aides, to the judges, to the stenographers, all that is getting paid from one person getting handcuffed.
Yeah,
purpose enough.
I gotta pause right quick. And shout out everyone in the Lioness Den. You are tuned into FlyNubianQueenTV.com. FlyNubianQueenTV.com. Make sure you hit the notification bell. I need everyone to make sure they hit the like button. As you can see, our brother Kareem Johnson is dropping jewels. We want to bring more people into the broadcast. I also want to remind you all to text the word Queens to 31996. That's Queens with an S to 31996. Also, make sure you're subscribed to FlyNubianQueen.com on Facebook as well as iTunes. And also support our programming at FlyNubianBusiness.com and FlyNubianMoney.com. So I want to make sure we're on topic, and I want to zoom in a bit more back to the topic. So we're talking about what happened to our brothers within the penal system, okay? With what happened to our brothers, hashtag John Neville and hashtag Shaheen Mackey. What happened to them while they were incarcerated? I need you, brother, to speak some words of life and upliftment to our brothers and sisters tuned into the Lioness Den. What should they be thinking about as we see these videos? And we see I'm sure there will be, unfortunately, more videos like this dropping. What needs to be the conversation? What needs to be the focus?
The conversation always has to be that we have a purpose, right? That we have a universal truth that we all have been born with. We should not diminish that truth by walking in a criminal lifestyle, by being something that someone else designed for us. While you're watching these videos, make sure that you are doing everything possible to evade any type of capture. Upon my release, I said I would never be handcuffed again. I did almost a decade behind bars, and I've been home for 16 years.
Hold on, wait. I need everybody to shout out our brother Kareem Johnson. He just stated that he spent 10 years behind enemy lines, for real, and he's been out for 16 years. That is worthy of applause. I'm gonna need y'all to give our brother some fire emojis and some hand claps, some black power fists, and all that good stuff. And he's telling us what the conversation needs to be as we see these videos going viral. Go ahead, brother.
Right. The more radical, the more you are awakened, the more you are conscious, the more you realize your purpose. and your purpose is to not come in contact with these people. You are not here to feed their system. If we are to get our liberation, because nobody can give it to us, if we are working towards our liberation, if we're going to get our liberation, we can never, ever have this police contact. We can never, ever be captured and allow ourselves to be rotten away for any amount of time, whether it's a day, whether it's a month, whether it's a year. Anytime you allow yourself to be placed in that system, you are generating income for them and allowing them to murder and kill somebody within that system. I don't care if it's in New York, I don't care if it's in Chicago, in the Carolinas, you think what I'm saying, in Arizona. We have to defund the whole entire oppressive system of the United States by not allowing them to make money off of us. And the prison system is the quickest way. They never defund the prison system. You never hear that, because that is what took place of slavery. They make money from the very moment you are handcuffed, from the very moment you are in police custody. The money machine starts.
About how much would you say? I know it depends, differs from state to state, county to county, but on average, how much do these devils get off of a black body? Let's say one person being in prison.
There's no true count.
Okay, it's no true count, but they get money from the government to house them.
And what they may claim, like they may claim 40,000 a year for somebody to be held in a county jail, and maybe 30,000 in a state facility or federal facility. But there's no true count. One, because we are priceless, and they know that. So that is how they tax their people. You understand? There's no true data on where your tax dollars go. You understand? The pennies that they get off of each citizen that pays into that system.
The pennies and the votes that they get from each inmate.
All that. So it's a machine, and we cannot separate the penal system from the other forms of military and other incomes generated when it comes to law enforcement, when it comes to upholding the flag, right? All those dollars that they take from the American people who are deemed, right, taxpayers, right, and those who are in good standing, right, with the country, they are telling them, we have to protect you from these people. So that's never up for debate. Defunding the military or defunding the prison system.
Right.
They will defund education. They will defund health care. They will defund all social programming, but never the military or the prison systems. That is how much our black bodies are worth to these people.
Wow.
So it is incumbent upon us to never feed that system. And we cannot feed the system if we are not in it. So we have to be mindful and conscious of everything. If the culture is one that is encouraging our babies to become drug dealers and strippers and hoes,
Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion,
we have to attack the culture and the vibrations of it. You dig what I'm saying? If the church is telling us to be submissive to the point of when law enforcement comes your way, that you just submit your black body, then we must attack the religious institutions. People who are woke and conscious are in constant battle for the minds and souls and the physical bodies of our people. And that justice system is one that we can all attack by just staying away from it.
Facts. What percentage of the people do you think are going to be awoke or conscious and actually 5%. Make a difference? 5%.
5%. 5%. And only 1% of that 5% are going to be leaders, and only a point of that 1% of those leaders are going to be ones courageous enough to bust their hammer to make sure that the politicized and military wings of our people understand what the task is. So our numbers are very short and small. But when I'm saying that, I'm also going to always say Castro and Che did it with 13 people.
Wow.
If our black asses could get 100,000, then we on our way. It doesn't take long. We just got to get in the right frame of mind to do it.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'm tired of seeing these videos of black men, women, and children being abused. Shout out to Silent D Productions. Thank you so much for your generous contribution to FlyNubianQueen.com. We really appreciate you. You say they don't want us, but they would love to keep us for their sick, twisted pleasure. We black folk are the snuff film. We black folk are the snuff film sources. Wow.
Exactly. Wow. Once they made it a firm decision to close down Hollywood, now you see an explosion of black bodies being murdered, black children missing, right? All type of violence against our black bodies.
I didn't think about that. So you're saying that, yes, really, the pandemic, right? All production of TV shows and movies has been on pause.
All that is gone. We have become entertainment.
Shout out to the brother Larry X in the building. I see you, brother. Yes, the studios in Hollywood are on pause because of pandemic. And you're right. We have been inundated with these damn videos of black death. You're right. Yeah. So that is a source of entertainment.
That has become their source of entertainment because they couldn't do it right the way they did it in the past when Hollywood first was established and showed us in a very disparaging manner, right? That's what we were. They were not trying to give a good, honest visual of who we were.
Wow.
So once Hollywood became indicted for their crimes, for their pedophilia manner, they needed a new form of entertainment.
Woo! Make my skin crawl.
Right. In order for them to be entertained, they just came out of the closet with what they were showing each other anyway in their private parties, which some of you black celebrities entertain and are invited to. They've been showing each other these footages.
Terrible.
They've been showing each other how they kill and maim and rape black children.
Right. Look,
they show each other that on a regular basis.
The Ahmaud Arbery footage was circulating in that town for months before it was brought to the public. I feel you on that. So yeah, thank you for dropping those jewels. I'm gonna have to get up on out of here and get my workout on. So brother, first of all, before I give you the final words of advice to our listening audience, I want everyone to hit the like button. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Make sure you're subscribed to FlyNubianQueen.com. Make sure you text the word Queens to 31996 and check out our shop at shopfnq.com. That's shopfnq.com. Also, our programming is right there waiting for you at flynubianbusiness.com and flynubianmoney.com. Before I give you the last word, I would like for you to let the people know how they can follow you on social media. Do you have a YouTube page, Instagram, or how can folks follow your content?
Yeah, all my pages are public, and it's usually my name, Karim, Karim Johnson. On YouTube, I am Karim, survivor of the 75th Precinct Johnson. That's survivor of the 75 THPCT Johnson.
Okay.
Same as on Instagram. I'm on Blizz, BLIZ _ENY. That's Blizz _ENY on Instagram. Karim Johnson on Facebook and Twitter.
All right, cool. If you could go to the chat right quick and type those in, our chat, and then I can paste them into the, or I can do it after the fact. I'll paste it into the YouTube channel. So I want to make sure y'all follow our brother. The other thing is, brother, I want to give you the final word. What are the words to the wise? Words to the wise of those tuned into the Lioness Den. Again, we're here on weekdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, FlyNubianQueenTV.com, our YouTube channel.
My final word is that we will win. I love my black people. Never give anybody or anything authority over you. Never give anybody or anything authority over you. And that's mentally as well as physically. Do not just volunteer it, and do not allow anything or anyone the power to take you. You have authority over you.
You have authority over you. Okay. So I want to thank you for tuning into the Lioness Den. As you can see, we have lots of work to do. I'm typing in your IG right now into the chat, so y'all can go ahead and look up our brother. We have lots of work to do, y'all. Right? We got prison reform, all types of reform. We got work to do in our own homes, in our own families, our own internal work, and balancing everything out. We got lots of studying to do. There's organizing to do and all of it. But in the midst of all things, we must stay focused and we must stay consistent. I want to thank everyone for tuning into the Lioness Den today. I want y'all to give our brother, Kareem Johnson, a digital round of applause. Shout out to our brother. I want to thank you personally for coming in and, serving as an expert, on these topics and giving information and upliftment and Black empowerment to the people, things that we can really be talking about or thinking about differently and doing differently. All right.
Definitely.
Thank you all for hitting the like button, for sharing this broadcast, and for subscribing to FlyNubianQueen.com. This broadcast is ending, but so is global racism and white supremacy. We will and we must trample and defeat this beast through fortitude, preparedness, and collectivism. And always remember that they stole us, they sold us, so they owe us. Until next time, family, peace and Black power. Black power, brother.